Hi, this is Kat with Beadaholique, and in this video, I'm going to show you how to use the Multi-Wire Mandrel Set by Beadaholique. Now, this features 4 different shapes in multiple sizes, so you're going to get some cool ovals here. Now, if you just look down the barrel, you can see that this has all different kinds of oval shapes to it, and each one has its own little steps, so you can make sure that you're getting a nice consistent piece. So we have the ovals, we have the square, and this one is really, really kind of neat. You can get some wonderful little right angles using this one. And then we also have the circle here. Now this is going to be great if you're going to be making some jump rings of your own or anything like that. You can also use it for frames, and we're going to go over some of that here in just a minute. But finally, we have the triangle shape here. And I'm going to be doing a little demonstration on how to create a form on this one. But I do want to show you that they do have an interchangeable handle here, so you can actually have something to hold on to, because holding on to the other piece is going to be not so fun to try to hold on to this while you're doing your wire work. So these do have these little square pieces, and they are interchangeable, so this fits on each one there, and you just kind of set it in there and you're good to go. All right. So let me show you a couple of things that I have made, and like I said, I'm going to do a little demonstration on how to make one of these little triangle frames here. And this is just creates a little triangle frame so that you can hang maybe some fringe or some chain or do a little bead weaving around. These are really, really fun, and as you can see, I have some different sizes here as well. Now this is the square one, so I did the same technique, kind of doing a little wire wrap at the top using the square. And I made a jump ring on the round one, and then I wanted to do something a little different. So I actually used one of the oval pieces as a little guide here to make a little connector piece. So again, you could do something where you create that little wrapped wire loop up at the top, and you can use it to hang things off of with the round and the oval. But I just wanted to show you a couple little different options there to create some open jump rings and to create some little kind of links like that. There is so much you can do with these. They're really versatile and really, really fun. Now, all of these here are using a 22 gauge wire. You can use various different wires. It just depends on the thickness that you want and where you want it to settle. I will say that if you use a lighter gauge wire and you want to hang something from it, just be mindful of the weight that is going to be put on your wire. Now, if you're going to do something like this, which is like a little jump ring here, you can also use like a 20 gauge wire. Heck, you can use an 18 gauge wire if you like. Whatever you need to complete your design. So feel free to experiment and just have a lot of fun with that. So now I'm going to use some 22 gauge wire, and I'm going to do a little demonstration here using the triangle mandrel. So let me go ahead and I'm going to take a little bit of wire off here, and probably about 6 to 8 inches or so. Set that in there. And now I'm going to use my nylon jaw pliers just to straighten that out a little bit. Just run it along my wire a couple little times there. There we go. All right. Now with just some flush cutters, I'm just going to trim that off and bend that down so my wire stays nice and coiled there. And I'm going to come to this side and just trim off this little end piece. All right. There we go. So now we have our little piece of wire. Like I said, about 6 to 8 inches or so. Now, if you're doing one of the wider pieces here, you might need more. I'm going to go about halfway up or so. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring it across so I have about 2 inches, I'd say, on one side. And now I'm just going to hold that with my thumb, hold it right next to the edge there, and I'm going to bend that around. And you want to keep it as close to that mandrel as you can. And this is good to have the handle there because you can kind of lean it on your table. And then I'm just going to keep rotating around one more time. And I'm going to bring it so that it crisscrosses there right on top. All right. So now keep it on your mandrel. And we're going to come in with a pair of chain nose pliers. And all I want to do is I want to bend one end up. And I'm going to bend the other end up as well. So we kind of have 2 of our wires facing up, just like that. So now you can go ahead and hold that together, and we're going to slide that off. And now we're done with our mandrel. Now let me show you how to do that little loop up at the top there. So I have my shorter side and my longer side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in right at the base there and hold with my round nose pliers. I'm going to bend the longer wire away from me so it goes down just like that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to rotate and I'm going to put my pliers right there. And now what we want to do is we want to bend that wire up and over. Now this probably looks similar to wrapping a briolette. So this kind of little wire technique is very similar because that's in essence what we're doing. Imagine a big briolette right in here. So now we have our wire that's kind of coming down and across like that. So now what I want to do is I'm going to flip it so that it's coming around. Oops. I want to finish my loop first. Let's make sure we do that. There we go. So go ahead and bring that down and around just like so. So now I want to flip it so that we're going the right way and just kind of line up that last little piece of wire there in the back to the front. And again, we want to make sure that that little piece is going to stay connected right there. And you can either hold this with your fingers, but I'm going to come in with my pliers. It's going to give me just a little bit of extra grip there, right on top of that loop. So go ahead and give it a nice little squeeze, not too hard though. We don't want it to mar. And now we're going to take this piece here and we're going to wrap it around the back. And you can wrap this a couple of times. It's entirely up to you. I'm going to wrap one more time and have it coming around to the back. Now I can release that. And what I'm going to do now is come in with those little cutters, snip off that end. And then we have this piece sticking up here. And what we can do now is we can come in with our cutters and trim that piece off as well. So now we have our little bail there. So you can use this for a lot of different things. And if you did want to change it, and I have a little example here. So if you did want to change it so that loop is facing the other way, you can see that I have my coil coming this way. All you want to do is just take that loop and just give it a little gentle twist. And there you have your loop facing the opposite way. Now this is a really fun thing. Again, you can do this where you're creating a little tiered effect for little pieces like this. You can connect them however you want to. You can also hang some fringe from the bottom. It's a really fun thing to experiment with and use. I definitely recommend trying this out with some craft wire. If you are having trouble, try it with a lighter gauge wire, just until you kind of get the hang of it. But it's a really fun little technique, and we're excited to bring you the multi-wire mandrel from Beadaholique. I hope you enjoyed this video. You can get all of these supplies and see even more tutorial videos by heading over to beadaholique.com. And if you're new to our YouTube channel here, be sure to hit that subscribe button below to get all the latest from Beadaholique.